What's up, everybody? Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. In today's episode, we are going to address a question that I get asked all the time. As I'm sure many of you get asked, I get asked all the time what my favorite deck of cards is. If you know me, you know what it is, and if you don't know me, you're going to ask. Now, this is not going to be a top 5 favorite decks of cards video. Today, we're actually going to discuss a scenario. If today I had to fill a brick box with decks from my collection, and those were the cards that I had to use for the foreseeable future, what decks of cards would I put in that brick and why? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And you might want to stick around because at the end of this video, I'm going to be giving some stuff away. Before we get started, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, intro.
Let's go.
Hey, now for this video, a few things. This is not in any particular order. This is just gonna be, let's say I'm going on a trip and I'm gonna be gone for a month and I can bring 12 decks of cards with me. These are just gonna be 12 decks that I'm gonna bring. They're also not all necessarily my favorite decks. Some of them are just decks that right now I'm really into. So don't read too much into it. These are just how I would choose to pack my brick. Here we go. First deck I'm putting in my brick box is gonna be the Tallyho circle backs in red.
So the Tallyhos, this is just a classic deck of cards. It's got that nice, classic, familiar back design. I like the way it handles. It's very unique. It makes it very durable. These cards will last you a long time. It looks good for Magic and Flourishes, which is a plus. And of course, it's printed by the USPCC.
Just in general, this is a deck that I love. All right, up next, going in my brick, we are looking at the Dan and Dave Smoke and Mirrors reprints by Anyone Worldwide.
Now, this is just an awesome collab between two very reputable cardistry brands. It's of course a reprint of a classic deck, which I really like, but it's got thin stock and it's almost standard, but it's got that upgraded design. It's definitely great for Flourishes and classic Dan and Dave moves that everybody loves. Overall, it's just something simple. It's very classy.
This was a worthy purchase. I usually don't like to purchase hype decks, but I did pay for this and it was definitely worth it. All right, so we've got 2 slots filled in our brick. And here's what comes next. Squeezers by Organic Playing Cards.
I love the creativity on this tuck box with these nutrition facts. The colors that really pop. It's meant to look like a juice box. The colors on the back, the way that they contrast, the orange and the green with the orange and black faces. It definitely looks great for flourishing, which is a plus, and I love that premium stock. These cards can definitely take a beating.
I actually did a video at the beginning of 2019 talking about my top 10 releases from 2018, and this was number 1 on that list. So if you don't have this deck, go find one. I would just feel guilty if I didn't include it. We're talking about the Orbit deck, specifically in this brick, the V6.
So far, the 6th edition is my favorite in the Orbit series. I love the classic Orbit design with that broken border that you get with that green. Looks good with the blue. It's perfect for a hybrid of Magic and cardistry, so it's nice to have both. And just overall, I love every edition, but this one has to be my favorite.
I do have the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th edition, but the 6th edition, as of right now, definitely my favorite. And taking that 5th spot in our brick is gonna be the Fontaine Carrots V2.
Part of the reason why I chose this specific deck is it's the standard Fontaine design, but it's got some extra flair. I love the crushed stock with that smooth kind of finish. The cards are actually really durable, but they feel very pleasant to handle. Card flourishes and displays, of course, look great. It's a very minimalistic deck, and Fontaine is a classic, so can't go wrong.
Again, this was a difficult decision for me because there's a lot of Fontaines out there. I have most of them and I really do enjoy some of them, but this one I think at the moment it's one that I would have to go with. And now, if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while or if you know me personally, you're probably waiting for this, but bringing us to a half brick is gonna be the Red Keepers V2. These are the ones by Cartamundi.
The fact that it looks standard, it's got this amazing tuck case, kind of looks unsuspecting, was designed by Adam Wilbur and Oben Jones, who are two people that I look up to. It's kind of got this upgraded bicycle design. It's the only deck actually that I perform with at gigs for the most part. It's definitely got the best stock and finish available, which is Cartamundi's True Linen B9 finish. Simple marking system that's very easy to read, makes it perfect for performing Magic. It's also cheap, so you can kind of rip it, write on it with a pen, and just overall it's an excellent deck to perform Magic with and practice with.
If you're just getting into Magic and you're scouring the Instagrams asking people what deck they should get, if you're serious about performing, you need to have this deck. Speaking of decks that every magician should own, next in our brick is going to be the David Blaine Black Lions.
Only thing I can really say about this deck is the tuck case is simply amazing. It's got a reveal on it. It's very, very well done. It's got that sexy, elegant back design with an even sexier ace of spades. This deck is really just perfect for Magic, and it'll last you a really long time, which I think is always a plus.
Now, up until recently, I actually only had the red and blue version of this deck, but one of my subscribers sent me a package recently, and this was in there, and I have abused this deck like no other. This next slot in my brick goes out to my man Hanson Chen for making one of the best handling decks ever. This is the Juggler Marble Edition playing cards.
This deck just has a great design, but also it's got good contrast, the kind of teal with the white. I like the almost standard faces. This stock and finish is truly amazing. These cards will last forever. They can really handle pretty much anything you put them through. They can be bent, broken, they can be pressured. Anything you need, this deck can handle it.
Of course, it looks good for cardistry, but you can also use it for Magic and won't have any problems.
People that say that they don't like cards printed in China or Taiwan have obviously never ever used this deck of cards before. It handles so good. You have to get one. Now, this was also a tricky one because there's multiple colors that I love, but the next spot in our brick is the Blueberry Mint playing cards by 52 cards.
This is the definition of elegance in a deck of cards. It's got that high quality foil stamp on the tuck case. It catches light beautifully. It's got tons and tons of clean elements to it. Everything from the back design to the faces. It's got an ingenious marking system, which I really appreciate on that crushed B stock. This really, it's like the Apple of playing cards.
I actually went to one of my best friend's weddings last month and didn't really plan on performing any Magic, but this was one of the decks that I packed because the tuxes that we wore were this exact color, so there's a little embarrassing story for you. Now, up next is actually my favorite deck at the moment, if you were to ask me, and that is the Alt Rosa playing cards by Black Roses.
I love the faded pink. It works so well with this deck. It's got that awesome kind of classic design with just enough customization on the faces to make it interesting. It's a deck that you just want to play with all day, that you're happy with. You can perform Magic with it, you can flourish it. It's overall my favorite deck.
I actually have a unboxing and review of these that just came out last weekend, so if you're interested, I will leave that in the description. These cards are amazing and they're still available, so go pick them up. You know what, grab me some while you're at it. All right guys, I think we have 2 decks left. We gotta choose wisely, but here we go. The 11th deck in my brick is gonna be the Gemini Casino. This is the special edition version, which at first was actually my least favorite and now is probably, of the series, one of my favorites.
Okay, now I love this baby blue and how it contrasts with the red on the tuck case. So good. It's 1 of 1,000, so you kind of feel special owning this deck. It is on premium stock and it's not crushed, so it's nice and thick, which I actually prefer. It just makes you feel like a cardist, I guess, using it. It's a very interesting faces. I love the casino style jokers and that casino style ace of spades. Overall, it just looks really, really good.
After shooting that B-roll, I just love it that much more. Before we talk about what deck is gonna take the final spot in our brick, here's a few honorable mentions.
For honorable mentions, we have the Superfly Stingray. I love that deck. Premier Edition Jet Setter playing cards by Expert. And we got the Lit deck, which is actually, at the moment, a deck that I cannot seem to put down. And of course, the Division deck. This is actually one of my favorite decks of all time.
And lastly, the pink Ace Fulton's playing cards by Dan and Dave and Brad Fulton.
Everything from the tuck case to the cards themselves. I love the print on the inside. It really just goes above and beyond. I love pink cards and casino cards, so it's pretty much perfect. It is super thin, but the handling feels nice. It's very easy for sleight of hand because it's so thin and malleable. But as well looks great in pretty much all flourishes. And it's got that classic casino style and aesthetic, but with a modern color.
I did just recently review this deck also, so if you're interested, I'll leave it below. I think I've actually reviewed almost every single deck in this brick, minus a few. But if you're interested, I'll leave some links below where you can check it out, or you can just go watch all my videos, because that would really help me out. And that's it. That would be my ideal brick. That's what I'm gonna call the perfect brick as of today. There you go. It will change. It will change as decks come out, or as I discover new decks, or as my tastes change, or whatever. But as of right now, if I had an empty brick box and I filled it with those 12 cards, I would be completely satisfied and know that all of my playing card tastes are taken care of. All right, so let's talk about the giveaway. I'm gonna be giving away 2 decks of cards today. First one is gonna be the Scarlet Filtra deck by Riffle Shuffle. I reviewed this deck on my channel. I'll link it below so you can see what the deck looks like. It kind of reminds me of like the Monarchs, but it's red and gold, which is really cool. And I'm also going to be giving away one of my new favorite decks, and that is the Hypnotic playing cards by Lit. I got some of these as a gift from my friends over at Doc's Playing Cards who made this deck. It just started shipping out to all the Kickstarter backers, so if you didn't get one, now would be your chance to win it. I'm going to be giving away one with the cardistry seal on it. So, if that does anything for you. And here's all you gotta do to win. Number 1, like this video. Number 2, subscribe to my channel and make sure you enable notifications. And number 3, leave me a comment down below letting me know your favorite deck of cards and why. If you're feeling really ambitious and you wanna up your odds of winning, leave me a comment letting me know what your perfect brick would be. Anybody who leaves a comment with what their perfect brick would be is gonna get counted for 2 submissions. So if you can, I would say do it. I'm gonna announce the winner in 2 weeks, probably. In fact, at the time you're watching this video, I'm probably already working on the next 3 or 4 videos. I'm trying to take some time off to spend with my family, so I'm really excited about that. And I wanna make sure that I'm still able to bring you guys that quality HD content that you've grown to love. That's pretty much gonna do it for me. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one.